And of course, there was a great battle between Hiranyakashipu and Lord Nrsingadev. And the Lord ripped out his heart and killed all his enemies. And the demigods tried to appease the Lord. One by one, the different demigods came before the Lord and offered different shlokas of glorification. Still, the Lord was quite angry, and everyone was afraid to go see him. Sakshat Shri Preshita Devar Dristva Tam Mahat Adbhutam Adrishta Shruta Purvatvat Na Sa Nopeyaya Shankita. Text 2 of chapter 9. Lakshmiji was requested to go before the Lord by all the demigods present. Because of fear, could not do so. But even Lakshmi had never seen or heard such a wonderful and extraordinary form of the Lord, and thus she could not approach him. So the commentaries, they say that actually Lakshmi Devi, who was the eternal consort of Lord Nrsingadev, she knew Nrsingadev was her husband, Lord Narayan, because she had seen in previous kalpas that her husband also adopted this form of Nrsinga. But Lord Nrsingadev, or Lord Narayan, wanted Lakshmi to relish this Adbhuta Gona Ras. So he showed her this form. And so under the influence of Yogamaya, she temporarily forgot that she had ever seen or heard such a wonderful form. The verse says, Dristva Tam Mahad Adbhutam. This Adbhutam means Adbhuta Ras. This is the Gona Ras, this fear, this amazing sight. So then they requested Prahlad Maharaj, who actually caused Lord Nrsingadev to appear, to kill his father, to go forward in the peace of the Lord. So Prahlad Maharaj, he was very affectionate. And Nrsingadev placed his hand on Prahlad's head. And he became completely pure, and he offered so many nice prayers and glorification of the Lord, and he pacified him. And there's a nice purport about how the Lord is always satisfied. He doesn't need service from anyone. Sometimes people say, well, why does Krishna want us to hear and chant and remember him? It seems like he's egoistic or he's self-centered. But actually this is verse from chapter 9, verse 11. Naivatmana prabhurayam nijalab aporno manam janat avidusha karuna varnite yadyat jano bhagavate viraditamanam Tachatmane pratimukasya yata mukashri. The Supreme Personality of God is always fully satisfied in himself. When something is offered to him by the devotee, the offering, by the Lord's mercy, is actually for the benefit of the devotee. For the Lord does not need service from anyone. To give an example, if one's face is decorated, the reflection of one's face in the mirror is also decorated. So when we're performing devotional service of hearing and chanting, it's not meant for the benefit of the Lord. It's meant for our benefit. The Lord is always glorious whether we glorify him or not. But when we do glorify the Lord, we actually become glorious, and our hearts become purified. Chetodarpana marjanam. We become purified in the core of the heart. And when our hearts become purified by glorifying the Lord, Sankirtan, then we can understand that we don't belong to this material world. We're actually a spirit soul. And our actual activity is to make advancement in Krishna consciousness. So when Krishna says in Gita, Sarvadharma Prityaja Mamekam Shanam Braja, that we surrender everything to him, this is not for his benefit, it's for the benefit of human society. Because as a fact, if individually and collectively everyone in the world would surrender to God and full Krishna consciousness, all the human society would benefit. The more we engage in Krishna consciousness and render service unto the Lord, the more we benefit. But Krishna does not need any service from us. So we should always remember that. Sometimes we also think like that in terms of Guru, that we're doing the Guru a favor. Oh, I'm helping the Guru, I'm giving the Guru this Lakshmi, I'm maintaining his ashram or his temple, or I'm doing his puja or his deities, or I'm distributing his books, I'm selling his books, I'm doing him a favor. Well, this is gross ignorance. Actually, the Guru accepting service or allowing someone to serve him or assist him in his preaching is for the benefit of the servant. It benefits the servant because the Guru is already fixed in his eternal service to the Lord, so he doesn't need anyone else's help or assistance. He can serve the Lord fully by himself without anyone's help, so-called help. But if someone cooperates and carries out the orders of the Guru, that's for his benefit. He'll become sense-controlled. The disciple will become sense-controlled. His mind will become purified. He'll become attached to the Lord and awaken and develop pure love for the Lord, which will fill him with transcendental knowledge, happiness and bliss, fulfillment, beauty and charm.